We interrupt this program for a special news bulletin.
Hello, my name is Destiny Abrego and welcome to Basement News. Today we are going to discuss the recent Detroit race riots and Los Angeles zoot suit riots. We recently spoke with working class neighborhoods of Detroit and they found themselves uneasy with transplants from southern United States looking for labor. The majority of white communities felt threatened by the flood of black people in the workforce and at the workplace. This fear has led to violence quickly. The black community met with white mobs who beat them and stoned their cars. Last night, 600 black male workers at the Chrysler plant walked out to protest the working conditions of black women at the factory. One female worker reported, "We are constantly being intimidated because we insist on eating in the regular places. When we first went to the plant, they gave us separate toilets far from our work and we were told that we would have to eat our lunch in these restrooms." We have also come across this recent story that street fights between white and black youth motivated by 35-year-old Leo T to enter a black nightclub and announce that a riot was in progress. Leo T made his way through 700 dancers, stopped the music, misidentified himself as Sergeant Bueller, and falsely reported that a white person had thrown a colored lady and her baby off the bridge. "Everyone get your guns and go out there," he shouted, the streets filled with angry colored people who were stoning white motorists and trolley passengers, while taunting policemen who came to rescue them. African Americans were seen beating and stabbing whites who crossed their paths. Last night, there was one injured person being sent to the hospital every minute. By 4 a.m. this morning, whites were organized and began to retaliate, stoning black motorists passing and assaulting black patrons, leaving all-night movie cinemas. Police officers were overwhelmed and looters had free range for hours. There were about 2,000 arrests made, comprising mostly black male youth with a median age of 25.
Disney's DTV monster hits.
Wendy's new bacon cheeseburger.
You've never felt fresher.
Hello, my name is Walter Sandoval and this is Addict News. A couple of months ago, we had riots that broke out here in Los Angeles when a couple of off-duty servicemen and young Latinos engaged in violent and bloody confrontations, being referred to the zoot suit riots. This situation was caused by the racial tension between Mexicans and whites. Wartime Los Angeles was difficult for the 250,000 persons of Mexican descent. Housing was inadequate. Sanitation is bad and is made worse by congestion. We recently received a letter from a mother saying, and I quote, "We're 100% Americans. My children and I are of Mexican descent." In schools that are all nationalities but only Mexicans are called by their ancestors' blood. The principal had auditorium call just for Mexicans. My kids were in tears when they told me, end of the quote. A group of sailors engaged in a street brawl with rebel Mexican kids known as Pachucos. On June 3rd, the next night, several hundred servicemen rode into East Los Angeles and descended on these young Mexican Americans who were found wearing the long coats and high-waisted baggy pants, known as zoot suits. The servicemen beat them and stripped them of their suits. Since then, police have launched repeated attacks on Mexican Americans, even though blacks and whites have also been found wearing these zoot suits. The police have been targeting the young Mexican Americans. The violence has been mostly instigated by whites, military personnel, police, and civilians. After a week of violence in Los Angeles, 150 people were found injured, and at least 500 Latinos were arrested. As in Detroit, order was restored only after military intervention. Convinced that suits were at the heart of the problem, and due to restrictions on manufacturing of the clothing style due to wartime rationing, our Los Angeles City Council has passed a resolution by banning the clothing style.